This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at Acer's latest Android Honeycomb tablet. This is the Acer Iconia Tab A200, which in a way replaces the A500 that is disappearing from the market now, and it offers a whole lot of bang for the buck. It's $349 for the 16 gig version, which is really wildly affordable for what you get, and it's a pretty nice tablet too. So this is the Acer Iconia Tab A200. It's a 10.1-inch Android tablet. It ships with Honeycomb, but there's a sticker on the box that says you'll get ice cream sandwich, and right now Acer is saying mid-February. Hopefully they'll stick to that. That would certainly be awesome. And what's special about this tablet is how affordable it is, and you get a lot of nice stuff for the price. This isn't for you folks who are looking for the latest, highest end cutting-edge product like the Asus ePad Transformer Prime, for example, but rather those of you who are looking to get into a 10-inch tablet and have a serious budget, and maybe you're not sure you want to spend a whole lot on a tablet. This sells for $349 for the 16 gig. There's supposedly an 8 gig $329 version available, and I don't recommend that. Saving 20 bucks and losing half the storage, well, that's really not real good economics there. But anyway, that pricing is pretty similar to what the A100 7-inch tablet came out at, and at that point that seemed very affordable, so it's really impressive how prices have come down. The Acer Iconia Tab A500 was one of the first Android Honeycomb tablets in 2011, and that one at the time seemed pretty affordable at $449. Obviously now prices have crept down. We're looking at $349 for a newer version, which actually loses a couple of features, but it gains some good capabilities at the same time. First off, you have a 10.1-inch display. Now, it's not an IPS display. It's not super duper bright. It looks great indoors, but if you're going to use this outdoors, it really doesn't have the brightness to combat outdoor lighting. And of course, there's plenty of glare because it's glossy. Viewing angles are actually quite good as long as you're indoors and not dealing with a whole lot of glare from the glossy display. Certainly nothing like the 7-inch A100 that had pretty peculiar viewing angles. This one's viewable from all sides, and it's good. It's a nice display. Certainly it's an improvement over the A500 display quality, and like I said, it's not IPS. It's not going to go, wow, man, best display I've ever seen, but it's very nice, and I don't think anybody's going to complain having to look at this display. Resolution is your standard 1280 by 800 pixels, and the tablet runs on an NVIDIA Tegra 2 1 GHz CPU, which was your standard CPU for 2011 once again, so we're not looking at anything new here in terms of specs. It's a capable CPU, it plays Tegra Zone games and all that kind of thing, but it's not the latest, greatest cutting-edge CPU. Again, for $349, well, you're not going to get the latest, greatest. Like the original Iconia A500, this has a full-size USB port, and we're going to explore that more fully later, but here it is right here. Just plug USB peripherals right in. It works really well. Under here, in this slightly challenging to pull off door, you have a micro SD card slot. Right there. And you have a reset hole. This is your micro USB connector to copy files to the device from your desktop. Here's your headphone jack. That's your power button. You can see that Acer kept kind of the same kind of curvy line here as it had in the original. This guy is 0.48 inches, just under a half an inch thick. So this is no Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 ultra thin or iPad 2, but you know what? It's the curves and this back make it feel really good in the hand. It's very grippy, it's easy to hold onto, it doesn't dig into your palms. So I'm not complaining much because ergonomically that's nice. It does weigh 1.5 pounds. Again, 1 1/3 pounds is more of the trend now for today's higher end tablets. So you're going to feel the weight in your hands, but the difference between 1 1/3 and 1.5 pounds isn't so huge either. You have stereo speakers back here, unimpressive volume. Textured plastic back, grippy, does show some fingerprints but cleans up pretty easily. It's your rotation lock here, your volume controls. They have 2 dots here and 1 dot here so you can figure out which end you're on of the rocker. It's a microphone hole. On this side there's nothing except for the charging port. This uses the same charger as previous Acer tablets. It's your basic wall wart, and it's nice because it doesn't take up the micro USB port if you want to transfer files while charging it. Nothing down here. You notice there was no camera on the back. That's one of the things they removed to make this more affordable, and I suspect a lot of you don't use the rear camera much and wave around a 10-inch tablet to take pictures. What it does have is a 2-megapixel video chat camera up front that also has a camcorder application app, and this works very well in Skype and in Google Talk video chat. The quality is actually pretty good, and I think that is something that people really do want to use on tablets, is video chat. The other thing that's missing is the micro HDMI port. No HDMI out here, folks. Nope. And it doesn't work with MHL adapters either. That's not a Tegra thing. You don't usually see that with Tegra CPUs. We tested it, so you're going to have to rely on the DLNA application that's on here for wireless streaming of content, if you wish, to your TV or to other products, and that works just fine. The tablet has the usual 1 gig of RAM, and obviously for storage it's quite expandable. That 16 gigs of internal storage is easily brought up to higher capacities using micro SD card or a USB flash drive, or even a hard drive. Acer has customized the UI just a bit, and we like what they've done, actually quite a lot. First you have their clock and weather widget here with the calendar, and that's pretty nice and all great, but I haven't found a way to actually change it out of centigrade for the temperature, and being in the US I don't think real well in centigrade. I don't know about you. Other than that, it's pretty much standard stuff. You can see they don't have a lot of widgets loaded here or anything. You're free to populate that yourself. Do you see this little target down here? And this brings up a neat little launcher. And here you have 4 shortcuts, and you can actually choose which applications are in those shortcuts. You're not stuck just using those. You've got volume control right here handy, and you can spin through all of your web bookmarks. Select one and it'll take you there. This is a Wi-Fi only tablet. It has Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN, single band 2.4 gigahertz. There is no 3G in this tablet. And you can see it loaded up our web page just fine. The other thing they add is their Social Jogger. It's a social networking app that we've seen in previous Acer products right here. And I don't think they make really good use of the screen real estate here. I mean, unless you have really, really bad vision, you don't need things to be this huge and take up much space. But it does have a couple of neat things. So you can pull this wheel out and fast forward or fast rewind through all the social networking. This supports Twitter and Facebook, and you can switch between My Wall, Photos, All Things, Links, all of that kind of stuff. In terms of software, we have Aopio, which is a personal radio station application here. Camcorder application, Clear.5. Take a look at that. See that on other Acer notebooks and tablets, and this is for DLNA media streaming. And right now we're not connected to anything else, so there is no content available, but it actually does work pretty well. We have documents to go here for viewing MS Office files, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. This is the view-only version. If you want to actually edit documents, you have to upgrade to the full version or load the Office suite of your choice. Evernote is preloaded. Of course, Flash Player is here as well. We've got a media server also for more wireless streaming. Solitaire game. Google Plus is preloaded. Google Books, Google Maps, Google Navigation. And yes, the GPS does work. To get it fixed, we had to go outdoors, but then it got it fixed immediately and didn't have any problems with the GPS, thanks to the ASUS Pad Transformer Prime. We are now a little paranoid about GPS in non-3G, 4G tablets. Netflix is also preloaded. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. Got the usual basic movie editor that comes with Android. Tegra Zone is preloaded as well for NVIDIA Tegra 2 games, which are pretty cool. There's a link to get GameLoft games, but they're not actually ready yet, so if you tap on that, hopefully at some point after you buy it, you will see a list of games that are available. Since it's a standard Tegra 2 tablet, which is what most tablets were in 2011, there should be a selection of those. Got a virus scan app loaded, not that there are really that many virus threats to worry about yet. And we have Zinio as well. And there's also SoundHound. And for those of you who aren't so familiar with Android tablets and wondering what games are out there, we're looking at the Tegra Zone right now, which offers a lot of high-quality 3D games and 2D games. Well, not a lot, about 14 or 15 or so, but they're pretty good. We've got Shadowgun THD, highly recommended. Grand Theft Auto, we're going to check that out, in fact. Dungeon Defenders, Global, which just shows off Tegra 3, so it actually isn't going to run on this. Riptide, everybody loves that. It's a water racing game. So there's some good games you can play on this, and it's pretty capable. In fact, let's take a look at Grand Theft Auto 3 now. So here we are at the beginning of the game. I played GTA on a lot of tablets, and for some reason this one's actually easier to control the car.
Delivering little bundles of love in a box directly. Let's move out of back. Use the service door. Hell no. I swear I thought you were the second. I'll drill your ass. You having fun over there? I'll drill your ass. I swear I thought you was my second. It's about you.
So that's GTA 3, Grand Theft Auto 3. Yes, it is a violent game. Sorry about that, folks. But it's also pretty demanding and pretty new and pretty hot, so I thought it was worth showing. You can also hear the sound is pretty good. In games, the speaker volume is pretty good. This is just about maximum, though. In music and videos, not so much, and we'll show you that as well. Now let's take a look at video playback of locally stored content, and we're going to head into gallery here. Now if you remember the Acer Iconia Tab A500, you remember how it really was not good for playing back high-profile MPEG-4 video. It just really couldn't do it. Now the Tegra 2 itself doesn't really do such a great job with 1080p content or anything that's high-profile, but definitely there's some improvements here. We're going to take a look at a 1080p standard profile video, which is really more than you're going to want to play since there's no HDMI out unless you're going to use DLNA for streaming. And again, we're just about at max volume here. So there we have it, definitely a big improvement. It can do it, and it does it without frame drops. Now let's take a look at a 720p high profile, something that the A500 couldn't do. And there that plays it. I see occasional frame drops, but nothing too bad. And if you use a third-party player like BS Player Lite, you get a little bit better frame rate. Now we're going to look at a 1080p high-profile trailer, and you're going to see frame drops. However, it's still a wild improvement over the A500, and for a Tegra 2 tablet, this is not bad. So the hardware really just doesn't support doing this. So as a video playback product, yeah, I can now recommend the A200. The A500 still not so much, but that's definitely acceptable. We've also got Netflix on board, and that is preloaded. And we'll keep watching Wallace and Gromit. The display is very colorful, it's nice and sharp, has good contrast, definitely nice for watching movies. We'll give it a moment to buffer up and get real sharp. So definitely a tablet that works well with Netflix. And again, the volume, that's maximum volume, so you're probably going to want to use some Bluetooth speakers or headphones with this. Speaking of headphones, sound volume is good, not roaring loud, but then again, you don't want to deafen yourself either. It's pretty good. It's kind of bass heavy by default, and there is no EQ on this, so for those of you who like a lot of bass, you're going to love that. But that's the expense of audio vocal tracks in some videos. I noticed that the bassier music will actually kind of drown out the voices a little bit, but it's definitely usable. This has the usual standard Android WebKit web browser, which is very capable. Scrolling is smooth. Pinch zooming is good. Absolutely no problems there. And it can play Adobe Flash just fine too. This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to do a comparison smackdown between the Samsung Series 7 Chronos 15.6-inch thin light notebook and the new HP Envy 15 2011. Oh, it popped out at the full screen 480p now. 2011 model. Both feature quad-core Core i7 CPUs and dedicated graphics, and they offer quite a lot of performance in a 15-inch package. So that works just fine. Yeah, Tegra 2 is capable enough with Adobe Flash. Not as fast perhaps as some of the newer CPUs, but it gets the job done, looks fine, looks sharp. And the controls are responsive. Speaking of responsive controls, here's an interesting thing. If we take a look at settings, if you look at the screen, you notice you can select your touch panel sensitivity. We've had it at medium, we're going to try it at high now. Other than that, this is pretty much normal stuff here. Now let's look at that special sauce, which is the full-size USB port. You can use keyboards, you can use mice with this. There's actually a track speed control or mouse control speed control panel if you want to adjust your mouse sensitivity. We've got a 32 gig flash drive here that we're going to plug in. And you can see it says USB storage down here. And anything that you plug in via USB port we found shows up in Gallery in the music player, which is just wonderful. Some devices like the Sony Tablet S, they have USB host capability, in that case requiring an on-the-go dongle adapter, but nothing shows up in Gallery or music automatically, so you have to go through a file manager. But the stuff that is on here, remember before we only had 3 videos, and it takes about 20 seconds to scan a 32 gig flash drive because we have a lot of files on there, but you can see now I've got new folders showing up here. Those are my original 3 movies. I've got photos taken with the HTC Titan. I've got usual desktop image file used for PCs here, and I've got videos that are on the flash drive as well. Give it a moment to generate those thumbnails. And there they are. And we'll just play something off the flash drive, see how it does. No problem, works just fine. Likewise, any files that you've got stored that are music files will also show up in the Google Music Player. Again, you'll have to give it some time if it's a large drive to actually index those files before they appear, but it does work. Now we've got a Western Digital Passport 500 gig hard drive here. That's formatted NTFS, and you know NTFS support isn't just native with Android, so clearly Acer went ahead and added support, and they did a very good job of adding that USB support. And it's preparing it, and it's spinning it up. And if you want to see it in File Explorer, go to the Mount directory and you'll see USB storage, and there's all the stuff that's on there. And again, all of these also will show up, and you can play media directly off of it in Gallery in the music player too, which is pretty darn cool. Zinio is also preloaded, and that's a beautiful magazine reader. Probably many of you are familiar with it already. And a 10-inch tablet really makes good sense because it's much more viewable on a big screen. And we'll take a look at our National Geographic that we downloaded. And this is best viewed in portrait mode. Nice looking. Responsive enough. Of course, they have a text-only view, but if you just want to bring something larger, you can do that and then pinch it back in. So Zinio, definitely really fun on a 10-inch tablet. Also, as I mentioned, this has the full suite of Google software, including the Android Market, the YouTube player, Maps navigation, Gmail, email, all that good stuff is on board here. So that's the Acer Iconia Tab A200, a bargain price tablet by today's standards, $349 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version, and it's available now at Best Buy and other retailers. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website for the full review. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.